How do you do? This is Brendan Ferguson, a designer.
This is Chuck Jordan, another designer.
Heather Logus, designer.
Dave Bogan, art director.
And Dave Grossman, passive bystander, pretty much, for this episode.
Right, so we are taking it up directly from the end of episode 3, cutting out all the boring travel time in between.
Okay, and max soul retrieving time.
Bosco! Free anti-mind control helmets for the first 50 lunatics to come out of
For technical reasons, we actually had to lose the street in this episode, but I think it was for the best. It was time to take a break. But we had to have Flint basically guard the door out of there, so that you couldn't go walk around.
Leave the senseless violence to the likes of me. I deeply resent that comment, Mr. Paper.
Yeah, Flint. We're gonna have to join together and use every detective skill we know to find Bosco.
Well, that's a no-go. Any more ideas?
Let me think.
I remember
I've always
when
wondered
that
what
scene was
Bosco
first
keeps
done,
hidden back here.
that bit wasn't made explicit in the tool. And so it was just Sam says we're going to have to use every tool we know to save Bosco. And then Flint immediately says, well, that's a no-go. So it didn't read quite as well.
In a different way.
I don't know, that kind of works too.
It's exciting to finally see that counter from the other
side.
Yeah.
I love stuff like that, where you see something for a long time and then finally get to go there.
Let's see if there's anything in the bathroom.
We had planned, at least way back at the beginning, that we would have a long, involved goose chase, basically, trying to find Bosco where he was. But, you know, it always works out that we need to consider how many different places we have, and so we decided to decided to make it in his bathroom.
We had a scene where they were out in a field somewhere. The Midwest was basically represented by a field and a bunker where Bosco was. There was going to be one cow out there.
Yeah. We kept wanting to make crop circles.
And crop circles. We wanted to do some puzzle with crop circles.
Couldn't do that.
Yeah.
They've come for us, Max.
It was the first reveal of the mariachi ship, and we're trying not to give it away at this point that it was
Yeah, Brian designed the
Mexican
mariachi
hat.
ship. He did it very cleverly
Sombrero.
so that from the bottom you can't tell, but as you camera move up over it, you see that it's a big sombrero.
Oh, that's a very nice image right there. That card, title card.
Jakeism.
So this is an episode where we start with some idea of, we wanted to take all these different themes that we've been having of kind of mythical creatures or other things, and we talked about what kind of aliens and Area 51-esque kinds of stuff could there be. But naturally, we'd done a little bit of somewhat alien-esque stuff in season 1, so we ended up talking through all these different kinds of aliens that there could be.
And man, there were a lot of kinds of aliens that we talked through.
We considered many, but then the idea of illegal aliens.
Bosco.
So a tired pun seemed to work out.
I can explain.
Bosco is extremely disturbing.
It is really,
How did
really
he
scary.
get an udder? I'll tell you, because Bessie had an udder.
Yeah.
Now shut up and help me.
Bessie is all cows.
That elevator over
So yeah,
That's
I
no
remember for this one that I just like the thought of those aliens experiments, and that Sam Max would come across some weird sort of stuff, and I think Bosco's turned into a cow was just the first thing I said as an example of, and then we just said, okay, so if Bosco's a cow, then you got to figure out how to keep him from becoming a cow or something.
It's an interesting take on the grandfather paradox.
Right.
We've got a model of Bosco. We've got a model of a cow. So it should be easy to just,
Just
cut
push them
and paste,
together.
right?
Perfect.
We thought we're saving the artist so much time, and of course we wanted it all.
And our,
Judging from the lack of
I have no
safety
comment on
and
that.
guns and ammo, I'd say we've gone back
our
to the
Doctor
angle
Who
of the men
and Bill and Ted inspired elevator time travel device, I think was a really cool look.
Right.
Our transportation.
So
Another
our
portal.
usual tack for
Another portal
portal.
that developed into something
Another
very
way.
absurd.
At least we didn't literally make it a portal.
Yes, you.
But this is one where instead of trying to be original, we just say, oh, we're making homage to every single time travel movie or game that's ever been. And there's been quite a few, but still interesting. And so we just decided to play with this whole Back to the Future,
It's not that.
he was never born
We're
kind of
friends with
stuff.
Well,
Bosco's mama is awesome. I think it's really great that you see Bosco dressed as his mom in the first season, and then here
And
you
there's
see
absolutely
her.
no similarity.
Yeah.
It's about as good a disguise as his British disguise.
Right.
It tells you how good at Bosco is at actually disguising himself.
Well, originally we actually had Joey Kamen, who does the voice of Bosco, do the voice of Mama Bosco, but it was coming across a little creepy.
There's a line of creepy that we've been dancing back and forth across all season, and that just stayed on the bad side of the line.
Max falling in love with the same voice as Timmy Two Teeth.
I think the excuse is
This is wrong,
Bosco
I just
probably
took a
hasn't
couple
seen
of-
his mom in a long time, so he got a bad impression of how she might have looked.
Perhaps so.
Waste of time.
Or he's just really bad at
I think he did really bad
disguises.
impression.
Yeah, he's got talents in other areas.
Yeah.
He's got a great personality.
Forget the baby maker.
I thought it looked good.
Catastrophic temporal anomaly.
Also, having the
Run away with me, Max.
Jackie O.
My
Pillbox
wife's
head and the Joey
Curse
Kamen's
my
voice was a
irresistible
little.
animal
It
magnetism.
was threatening to get into Dr. Girlfriend territory. For the Venture
Right,
Brothers.
right. Right, so here's one that we planned all along, that you would eventually go back and meet the old Stinky that they keep talking about all the time.
Are we glad to see you? Why? Still, it's a new person to talk to.
It's us as impressionable
His look was also inspired by kind of our original story of
Max, distract Stinky for me.
the young girl Stinky, and how at one point she was a mermaid pulled out of the water by a sailor,
Right.
which somehow
Real smooth.
changed into something else. But
After
she's
Right,
this,
right.
solemn.
you cease and desist all future production of gooey molasses tar cake.
Well,
But,
a lot of times when
who
we're
was the influence for this guy? Was it Hemingway?
Just very, very
I think so.
disappointed.
Chuck, it looks
He
like
looks
he
a
had
little
him,
like Popeye to me.
well, a little bit of Popeye, a little bit of Sean Connery, a little bit of Ernest Hemingway. I think was the source.
Yeah, there's definitely supposed to be some Sean Connery in the voice, obviously.
Actually, I don't believe that falls under their jurisdiction.
Man, a lot of bleeping in this season.
Time stream altered.
That wasn't intended to be bleeped, but
I love the music in the background. Jared really nailed that
Oh yeah.
80s music.
Wow, I've never seen.
You just said
anything
something
that
vaguely
advanced.
Irene
You must have at least
Cara-ish.
640 kilobytes of
He
RAM.
did better.
Yeah. Whatever, kid. This is
Really?
Speaking of the line of
It's like an-
creepiness, you want to talk about the other version of
Yeah, you do that.
this puzzle with the...
we had a lot of puzzles for this episode that we threw out, and we had one where the idea here was that what you're trying to get Max to like girls so that he'll like Mama Bosco, and so that she'll be repulsed by him. And so we had Max dressing up as a prostitute or something like that. in order to-
It was the Spin the Bottle Championships from
right.
that was mentioned in season 1, and he was practicing for them, and then you had to
If I remember correctly.
he had to like kiss a little girl who was Sam's cousin,
Time stream altered.
so it was like a little girl version of Sam, and he was repulsed by that. And so you had to find the movie starlet that he was really attracted to, and future Max had to dress up as her and go back in time
And the idea
Yes,
that,
younger
that
Max.
young Max would be attracted to an older version of himself in drag was just a little bit over.
It was just, yeah, we were.
I
having
remember
trouble
seeing
with it.
Steve's eyes when we ran that by his face.
I think he was okay with it though.
Yeah, strangely he was, but there was a little weird, strange look on his face. I don't know if it was. It's one of those things that sits in your gut for a while and it turns upside down, I think.
He just wanted to be more Betty Page-esque instead of
Yeah.
Marilyn Monroe-esque.
Special tour of the store.
Yeah, I was pretty set on having Max get a Betty Page costume.
We tried to put them, cross-dress them in episode 203 also to get in, because it was going to be ladies' night or something.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
We cut that as well.
The cross-dressing's not the problematic part. It's the
No, I know.
being him.
I
that-
understand.
There's already a long history of
I don't think so.
cross-dressing cartoon rabbits. So.
That's
Yeah, that's a
true.
bit of cliche territory.
Super Bowl.
But we did leave in the starlet
Sequence of
that
events that led to your presidency.
the starlet that causes the whole scandal thing is still named Maxine Lepew, which was going to be
Right, that was funny to me that you never changed that. That was the version of Max that young Max was supposed to be in love
My
with.
dearest Maxine, meet me
Because it was supposed to be like
tonight.
Pepe Le Pew.
Tender
That's the
caressing,
best
tender
line
caressing.
in the whole game.
And a donkey, love, the prez. That's very shocking, sir. Where were they going to meet?
Inside Stinky's Diner.
Stinky's? I can't believe the
So
president.
we got a
would
fart
eat at
joke,
Stinky's.
a spit
I've lost
take,
all respect for the
boobies
man.
spelled on the calculator.
Nice.
I love spit takes. I always want those in there.
Hello, fool. Mr. President Fool.
I love.
So Bosco,
What did we call him again?
Super Bosco.
Super Bosco.
Never better.
Super Bosco.
give us any more
That was
details?
Super Bosco.
It's
Bosco.
straightforward enough, fool. I was a test tube baby.
I don't think that ever made it to the script.
No idea who'd make
No,
So
it
I
didn't.
changed the rollover text
Boss
or whatever.
Cow and
No
Super
more raps
Bosco.
about my mama, Mr. President, or I'll have to ask you to step outside.
We'll see you around, Bosco.
Some good writing right there.
I thought
Look,
we had,
Sam, more visitors.
I don't know how to use all
I
those
really love this part
There, Sam.
Sam going on and on about with his like
More visitors
old
for your
adventure game
special
lines.
day. Comically
Just
backwards past versions
it's
of
so
ourselves.
brilliant.
Nah,
inspired.
I want to keep these shoestrings.
That's nice, Sam.
It looks pretty awesome without teeth, too.
I love the Geordie
Yeah.
LaForge visor and
Oh,
the.
the wonders I could show the two of
It was
you.
just going to be
I wasn't afraid of
from the
violating
first
the
episode, the wheelchair from the first episode of Star Trek
asking for it.
that has the two lights on it.
In the
And whoever
future,
thought to combine it with
we
the
can make phone calls to
Doctor Who
other
version is
people,
just pure
even
genius.
when we're not at home.
Yeah, the artists were really inspired on this one. They
And
just
our cars now
we were
have
so
additional
worried about the
brake
budget for
lights
this
that
episode because there were
allow
so
the
many
rear
different
seats.
places you had to go.
What about robots?
But
Do we have
when
robots
the artists
made
get
in the
inspired, they
future?
do
With
miracles.
lasers? Oh, you uncultivated savages. Robots are used for controlling our spaceships these days. Surely you've heard of the Maintron 28,000 line? Well, of course. Right, Sam?
Everybody's heard of that. I can't shoot, Max.
That building in the
Must have been having a
background
ton of
outside the
exciting
window
future
totally
adventures in
reminds me of
space.
the CN
No, we
Tower in
don't take
Toronto.
that many cases
Oh, yeah.
anymore. We try to stay
Because it's a
local
tall,
and
pointy building.
delivering things. Still?
If you're not taking cases, what do you guys do?
I've become an expert in volcanology, and Sam is... Well, Sam is in his own world.
We're all
now.
enthralled.
Great transmogrified vapor wolves.
I'm just
of
trying to hear more of the
rifle
music.
sevens.
The music here and in the mariachi spaceship entry room is probably some of my favorite of the
Oh, he's
season.
fine. Mostly. The years add up, though.
Yeah, this is another one where I remember Jared asking, "Do we really have to make a new theme for this car because he was so overloaded?"
That's how we say goodbye in the
And
future.
I felt so bad for him because he was having to stay up all night to do it, but he did it, man. I can't believe he had time to
But
do
Brendan
that.
said, yes. Yes, Jared, you do have to make a new
basically
theme.
said I was really hoping we would at least get the theremin kind of feel to it. And somehow he made time by staying up all night.
Dangerous.
I'd say the
Just
level of
just
commitment
fixed
from
was
everyone
your
on the team,
fault.
just
Yeah.
across the board.
All right,
from all
let's go home.
disciplines, is
How do we get out of here?
Yeah, we were very ambitious, especially for these last two episodes. And everybody really
Bosco, you're gonna have a car
stepped
there.
up and did it.
Yeah, they're probably the grotesque but misunderstood kind of aliens who just come to Earth because they hate cows and fields of wheat.
I was really wondering actually how many people would know that it was going to be the mariachis at this point. I was worried that the pun on illegal aliens was going to be too obvious,
Prepare to deliver on my
but I think it works even if you predict it.
It's TATM!
Oh, bienvenidos, amigos.
I was a little worried about the pun on illegal aliens being a little too something else.
Yeah, but
No,
we didn't really hammer it.
not our way.
No. I think we handled it with delicacy and, hey, where's the song? Oh, here it is.
This is the master Daniel Herrera who did this this scene, choreographed it, put it all together.
It comes from a long line of mariachis. Or at least was born in Mexico.
Yeah, this was a hard one because for 104, we just said, or I just got the message from Dave, is like, write a song about war, and they'll just do a little song and dance number. And so I just spit out a few lyrics for it, and then came in to the office a few months later, and he was showing me the cutscene that everybody had done. It was just like, all of a sudden the entire company just went nuts with it.
But they're really
And so we
fun
kind of
to
had to
do.
top it here, and there was like a lot of pressure on.
The hardest thing is we don't really intentionally write them to be these huge numbers in the beginning, and then it's just so infectious and contagious when you start working on it. Everyone starts adding their 2 cents. And they
Well,
turn into these
yeah.
monstrous productions.
This
But
one ended up being, part of the reason it was so hard was in season 1, that Secret Service song and dance didn't actually have to convey anything except they're excited about war. So they could really do anything, do any abstract thing you wanted. But here, we are actually telling the story and telling some of the most important plot details. And you do have the ability to talk to the mariachi afterwards, but we want you at this point to say, oh, look, they've got gigantic heads that crush people's spirits and send them through this portal. And so because of that, it was the lyrics of the song there had to be enough for you to understand, oh, these guys, here's their job and here's what they do. And we had to spend more time kind of directing this scene and talking about, oh, is it clear what's happening?
There's your triangle that you like so much.
Right, so we wanted to link up to the previous episodes, of
The
course.
reversed effects that look nicer.
So essentially, in this episode, you're supposed to see, oh, here's how all the last 2 episodes all link together.
Yeah, I think this one actually it turned out a little better than the war song in it as well.
Yeah, Daniel did a great
it's-
job, and Dave, you did awesome with the animation.
It's
Daniel wrote half the song too. I kept having to ask him for translation.
Right, he's the mariachi consultant.
Mariachi wrangler.
That's what people always say, don't work with kids and don't work with
Oh,
mariachi.
we should probably mention Daniel actually grew up in Mexico City, and he was the one who made a request to have the is it the donkey painted like a zebra?
Yeah.
I don't know if that. I think it shows up in the game somewhere.
Yeah,
it's on
it
the
is on the thing.
On a photo.
And the line for it, as many of the lines, is just my own personal comment on that. Somebody assured me that.
It's in Tijuana, right?
Many different questions left to answer. Like, what about the far, far future? How will I die?
I can think of a few ways.
I always cracked up hearing Roger L. Jackson in voice recording sessions. I'm just amazed that he not only did the mariachi voice, but he did three somewhat subtly different versions for the older, middle-aged, and younger
I
one.
must keep on
He's good.
until I find out for sure.
He's also the voice of Mojo Jojo in the Powerpuff Girls.
And the killer on the phone and screen.
Oi, what a
Yeah, but Mojo
stupid way
Jojo's
to
cool.
die.
I can think of stupider ways.
And I could help.
Kind of makes you want to quit your job, huh?
Oh no, there are still so many big questions I want answered. But
So this one, as I recall,
printer,
we just wanted to have the chicken and the egg be in there. And we just kept looking for all these different ways for there to be a puzzle about switching the chicken and the egg. And we can never, we're always trying to make it so that you can reliably predict. It's weird, but it's like, oh, if I switch the chicken and the egg, then this will happen. We talked about lots of possible effects, but nothing where you felt like you could make a reasonable puzzle out of that. So in the end, we decided we're not going to make a puzzle out of that. That will just occur in the thing. Somebody just wants the thing from the beginning of the universe. So you do all this weird stuff just to get there, basically.
Another part of that, there was we were trying to think of a puzzle that you needed jelly for.
Right, so you had peanut
And
butter.
you had peanut butter, so you had to switch the chicken and the egg so that all jelly would turn into peanut butter.
Yeah, I could have predicted that.
Yeah.
Look at it, Max.
Not like our puzzle ended up being that much better. But
Everything. Our entire universe, before the creation of matter and energy and quantum particles or something, it's at this spot that everything you know, or will ever know, will be Mr. Featherly.
Oh, hey guys.
So that joke, that's the way that I always talk whenever I talk. Whenever I explain the scenes to other people. So Sam Max come in and then Marshall goes, "Hey guys," and so finally I kept asking, "Can we please put that in somewhere at the most inopportune moment for somebody?" Just very nonchalantly.
Oh, hey guys. That's one thing I don't know if it came through clear enough, but that I like a lot is after you switch the chicken and the egg, they're Max and Sam from now on, and everybody calls them Max and Sam. But everybody at this point is like one guy.
Yeah,
So,
unfortunately, there's only one person left.
and we had it painted on. We actually made Kim repaint the front door of the office to say Max and Sam Freelance Police. And it was going to say that every time from this point on, but it's covered up by the elevator.
Yeah, the elevator. A lot of time when we're designing this, we don't know what it's going to look like. We just say, okay, and then the elevator shows up in their room, and we just don't kind of fully think through how much room that's going to take up.
Ensign Sam, set course for ancient Rome. Our mission, to hug Caligula.
Stop goofing off, Max. We've got to extend that bridge and return
I remember
Bob's
this little scene was really added late, where there was always a scene where Bosco would get sucked up, but we forced it to happen because weird stuff was going on. this last scene was really complex because you had all this different stuff of you could basically stop time or start the Soul Sucker early, and so we had to simplify things. Although wait, that ended up getting in there a little too early.
Most dangerous birthday. Whatever.
Issuing time card for embarrassing idol.
So here's one where all we wanted to do was just remind you of the soda poppers, basically, because again, if we're going to make them the final villain, we don't want people who haven't played season 1 to say, who are these guys? So we wanted to have some way to remind you right before the finale. But we didn't really want to spend any time with them, so we just invented the scene where you just go, see it, they leave, and so you just remember them but don't have to talk to them.
We did have a lot of complaints about the soda poppers as characters throughout season 1, and I think it's pretty funny that we made them the villains, the final villains for this season.
It felt good to take them out.
We did that pretty intentionally, I think.
Permission to stop talking, Captain.
We knew that there was some animosity towards the soda poppers,
But
so we kind of felt like rubbing
it
it in people's
if
faces.
it's our way of having animosity against them, or if it's giving them a nice treat at the end of the season that they're gone.
I was real worried about it.
I thought it was really appropriate and that people would appreciate the fact that even though we kept making them suffer through the soda poppers, the payoff was completely worth it.
I admit I was getting really worried when the reviews of episode 2 were saying, #1 pro of this episode, no soda poppers. I was like, oh no. The whole finale is taking
We did a presentation at PAX last year where we actually generated and put together a scene with the audience, like during the hour that the presentation was going on, and we let them vote for which characters were going to be in it, and the soda poppers got no votes whatsoever.
Oh man. I think they will change their minds once they see Specs in bondage gear.
Well, it makes sense to here too, because I mean you had mariachis who sing for birthdays, and you had a birthday earlier in the show.
Right. We also wanted to tie it for that reason.
Of course not. How's the cover-up going?
Very well, sir. Is what I'd say if there was a cover-up. Which
I love the idea of Superball as one of the Men in Black.
Can't seem to avoid it.
Well,
have
he
you been
is
sending
black
Boxy Betty to...
and a man.
Hey, buddy, throw us that remote control, would you?
So this scene actually we changed very near the end.
That was pretty late.
Because we started to design episode 5 and figured out, okay, here's what we're going to want. We're going to need that remote from upstairs. So we went back and changed episode 4 at the last minute.
Benang!
The wonders of episodic development is that you can actually do that.
Yeah.
That was just that was like one line read from.
Yeah, I mean when I was running the line,
and Nick just ran nuts with it.
It was basically I didn't have anything to say, so I just said say Benang in a funny way, and it was funny. I didn't think it was that crazy. He just went Benang, and then Nick and Jake just thought that was the greatest thing ever, and they just spent hours and asked me to check it in after the deadline for all stuff to be in the game.
Man, that song is even worse than I remembered. I can't believe I voted for you.
Keep it down, Max. We don't want to mess up time any more than we already have.
You really nailed that high note.
It's just a good word.
Sloppy than my brother.
Well, I remember.
You've got my vote.
I don't know if it's in the next one, but the whole thing that turns Specs evil was just breaking his glasses.
Right.
Pin bottom records.
That really ruined his birthday, even though he seems pretty much like he doesn't care. And that's because in episode 102, that whole glasses breaking thing was added pretty near the end, so we didn't bother to change the expression. But I always like stuff like that. To me, often the funniest thing is when they just have no expression whatsoever when crazy things occur.
Oh, the director got in some bonus airtime.
Stock footage, archive footage, but still.
Listen to our words.
I actually like the director.
I like the director a lot.
This was always a key aspect of this episode, that you would meet your past selves and they would wreak havoc in some way. You kept changing how it would work. But
what are you guys doing here? Congratulations on your recent embarrassing idol victory.
Now hand over that contract.
I do know that
we need it.
What we wanted was this feeling like all of a sudden now I'm the NPC. The other guys are treating me like I'm the guy that they're asking for information. And so we designed this puzzle coming up here to be a dialogue puzzle in which they would ask you, we're trying to do something and we need this, and you would have to trick them into doing the wrong thing. And then we were just talking over the various cases that they might be on. And then it just ended up being a joke reference to the the fact that people were saying in episode 106, how did they get to the moon? To me, Sam Max did just show up anywhere. I never think about how they get anywhere. But because people asked about that, it just seemed funny that would be their quest. But it was never, that was always intended to be. And they're just off on some silly quest, who knows why.
Incoming delivery. Entrega entrante.
You jerks!
You made us go through the last year and a half all over again.
Stand aside, decadent future versions of ourselves.
This scene seemed to come together, like when we were describing it. It seemed to all fit together. Once we said, okay, you're just going to immediately leave Embarrassing Idol and come back, I really liked the idea that you would follow the other ones for a moment.
Yeah.
And then imagine them having gone through all that pain.
You spent a second not really sure which ones you're looking at.
The right thing to say. Max and I have to get to the
Yeah, we
moon.
specifically added the banjo to his back so that later you would at least be able to have some idea
Kinda keep
which is
track
the
of
way
what's
if
going
you
on.
look away for a minute. Especially since the other one walks and still comments on stuff.
Where do we get one of those? Ask Agent Superball in the future. What is this place?
This is not our beautiful house.
How did we get here? They'll trade you for a recording contract.
Hey, Sam, don't we have a recording contract?
Yeah, but we need it for, I can't remember. It must be important, or we wouldn't still be carrying it.
Yeah, I think when past Sam was wandering around saying random things from adventure games, most of them were Boston Lows from the Dig.
Don't push it, Max. All right. Here
So
you
is
go.
it this one or the other one where we do the,
Max. That was the last
I don't even know where I am, Sam.
You have scored 200
I don't remember which
out
episode
of a
that's in.
possible 500 points.
Weren't you going to trade
The
us
reference
something?
from one of the lines from Hit the Road that
Here's that screwdriver you guys wanted.
Goodbye.
I always
Never
remembered.
forget all you've done here today.
Have fun on the rest of your adventures.
I'm even more confused than usual.
What's your job around here, buddy?
This was one actually, that scene that we just saw, the screwdriver, where we realized at the end of the game that we wanted you to use the tar to freeze time, but then you saw the screwdriver that seemed even better. So we said, okay, you just got to get rid of the screwdriver for some reason. And poor Marco was stuck with just give them the screwdriver. That's all. It's like, oh man, you know how hard that is to have one guy flip a screwdriver to another
Hey,
guy.
Max, what happens on April 22nd?
I think that's Earth Day.
Okay? Showtime, people. Attention.
I really like this set of jokes, Jeff.
Wait, did you
I also
make
really
that
like the
joke on me, eh?
Coalinga. Episode 3.
I don't think,
Max, what do
I'm not sure if Perth Day is an actual holiday.
I've always celebrated it.
I hope that it is. I think we should ask our Australian fans to
I mean, I take
celebrate Perth Day.
Pride and Prejudice and all the Bridget Jones Diary movies back to back?
You know it, girlfriend. It'll be our Colin birthday.
Did someone say,
Oh, guys. Sayonara.
okay?
The talking dog said goodbye.
Hey, Superball.
That was one joke that I always really wanted to be in there, that the thing would keep translating everything, including
It's my
the
birthday.
Yeah, it was,
the accent words.
it was supposed to be hyper politically correct, and that
It's my
was
birthday.
that was another one of the things that Brendan always says in design meetings was you just cannot say piñata, it's piñata.
So anyway, these guys look at the piñata and they're
So-
talking to, what's that guy's name? Oh yeah, Pedro.
Gracias for the song, senor.
So it was supposed to be, the politically correct version of the voice was supposed to be hyper politically correct and translating stuff that didn't need to be translated.
Area. Please acknowledge.
That and the voice,
Just make with
the different personalities for the AI voice is something that has already come up frequently in here that we wish we could have used it more so that you pick a personality with it and it stays constant throughout. But
Time traveling.
for really long cutscenes like this one, it turned out to be difficult to have
Whatever you do, do
have
not
a random
extend
personality in the
the
middle of it because it's so dependent on timing.
For
Right.
body and time vortex.
So the way we make the games is we choreograph the entire scene together so that every part of it blends together nicely. And so if you had 4 different possible lines that the AI could say, you would have to have 4 different versions of that scene, or somehow cut in the middle to a different scene. It would just be really hard.
Oh, yeah. Good luck, Maxi Sam.
Yeah, Maxi Sam, you said.
Yeah.
Setting course for the beginning of the universe.
And this is one of those scenes where we as designers do a really bad job because we remember, oh yeah, the ship's supposed to take off at some point so that it can crash at the beginning of time, but we just kind of forget to mention that. And like the guys do all the work. They're like, oh, finally done. Oh yeah, by the way, I forgot to mention the ship's supposed to start spinning, blast off, play a song. Wow.
Hey, wait for us.
Kinda crowded in here already.
Yeah, good luck.
Man, I hate those guys!
They remain at large.
What will become of
Extra
102
salmon,
Salmon
extra max.
I do love the idea of introducing an extra Salmon Max into the universe.
Destruction imminent.
Go, little buddy. It's now or never.
Where do you think this portal goes?
Anywhere that's not on a spaceship set to self-destruct and hurtling towards the beginning of the universe.
All right, Sam. If this doesn't work, I'll see you in
We
hell.
really struggled to figure out how to get Bosco's body out of there.
That was how.
Why now?
Oh, there's more.
It's not over yet.
You just missed the beginning of the universe, Brendan.
Well, I gloss over the unimportant details. You know, there's a current theory in cosmology that the entire universe was created at, colloquially speaking, a Big Bang.
Really?
How would that look?
So this was actually going to be...
I see.
Yeah, that was going to be... they were just going to run into Mount Rushmore or something.
Yeah, the Statue of Liberty, the sombrero ends up on top of it.